it's time for an update on the Johnny Bucket installation. As you can see, I've gotten a little bit farther ahead on the project. The bucket is now sitting mounted on the bracket, and that part's okay. The only problems I've encountered on this part of the install was partially due to missing hardware, so I had to purchase hardware for this bracket, as well as you can see the gold grade 8 nuts down there. Those were missing, so that required a trip to the hardware store. This pin, in my opinion, is too short. I barely made it work in there. I even had to ground it down to fit. Put a little scratch on it, unfortunately, but this, between the two of them, is actually the shorter. So I thought I might have had the pins reversed, but this is the correct pin according to them. So I'm going to try to find one that's a little bit longer, and maybe one I can get a washer behind. So that's something to address. I've had to custom the spacers. They come with spacers, but they need adjusting, and there's spacers up top, so I've got that straightened out. The problem that I ran into has to do with the mounting of the actuator, where basically I used the 2 bolt holes that were available to me, but I'm going to have to make some adjustments on this track, and I'll show you why that is, in case you can't figure it out just by looking at it. So have a look at the dump action on it. Now you can see I'm not curling back the way I should, and that's because this mechanism here is going to need to slide further back in order to get this to come level. So this is an adjustable track, so this is going to need to get dialed in, but I wanted to point that out, that if you have it come out like this, then obviously this is incorrect. Alright, I've taken off the actuator, flipped the bucket forward, and the holes that I was using, you can see from the paint marks, were there, and I moved it onto this next set here, which has tracks on it. So this is the range of our adjustability like this, so hopefully within that range we'll find an appropriate setting. Alright, you can see I've got it flopped back, but you can see in this position we're almost lined up exactly, but if we have it set all the way backwards, we're going to get the bucket relative to the arm. It's going to be picking up a little bit. So this looks like a good baseline setting to start with. It looks like we could adjust this fairly easily in the future just by removing the pin that's here with the spacers. So we're going to leave it on this setting. I'm going to screw it all together, and let's see how it dumps in this setting. Alright, now you can see the difference on it. That's all the way forward dump, and that's with the arm set all the way back. And now we can see how the dump is supposed to work. And now when it tilts back, you can see how the bucket has the proper curl to it for transporting. So problem solved. This actuator is pretty zippy. Alright, so that's where we're at. Just have to get the tooth bar on, wiring, and we'll be all set. See you on the next video.